Well, hello there and welcome back to this F1 2017 Sauber career mode. It's the first upload since my holiday. It's been about 10-11 days, so very sorry for all you guys that have been waiting for this, but I needed a little break and that's what I've done. And we're here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez circuit in Mexico. Now, yesterday, of course, in real life F1, Hamilton won the title. I'm not going to win the title here tonight, no chance of that, but certainly we've got a good opportunity to get a decent result because we've done quite well in the practice sessions. Purple in everything, including an extra 20 resource points for the last couple of upgrades. I need to familiarise myself with everything that's going on, so the first thing we'll do is look at the upgrades. I believe 2 of these came in last time out. We're sitting on 406 resource points, so if all goes well we'll be able to do another one of these, and you can see there that our chassis is now caught up to the likes of Williams, McLaren and Haas, so performance is improving all the time, which is nice. Let's have a look at the R&D progress history. Yeah, you can see there the history page. Obviously we've jumped up quite a lot since we've started actually upgrading the car, and you can see there we're now very close to McLaren. Depending where we were, let's say probably around about, I don't know, Canada or Baku, you can see we're quite a way behind. Now we're right up with them and hopefully we might overtake them before the end of the season. The power units, I did use power units number 4 for a majority of the practice sessions. We're now on to power unit number 5 for the qualifying and race sessions, because there's only 3 races left to go, including the one we're just about to do, and these are all on 0%. So we've got ultimate power from all of our units, apart from the gearbox, which is into its 6th and final race, and we're currently sitting at 68%, so hopefully we won't get any sort of wear in qualifying and the race. Pace has been okay. I can't remember, I did FP1 before the holiday and I can't remember how we were on pace, and FP2 and FP3 I did last night off camera, and it was wet for both, which qualifying and the race is going to be dry, and we was a couple of seconds off, but I was using old units, so I don't really know if we're going to be that good in qualifying or not. We'll just have to wait and see. But the first thing we'll do is listen to the voicemail for a qualifying objective that the team have set. 18th and beat Magnussen. Well, I think we'll definitely get 18th. Certainly the McLarens in that long straight, their power disadvantage will come to the core. So we'll go to qualifying then and see if we can hit our targets. So then I've just put the setup on, drained the fuel air, aero's at 3.3, nice and low for the straights, transmission 100% and 75, suspension geometry all the way to the right for the camber, and I've left it in the middle for the toes, 11.8, 11.9, 6.5 for the suspension. Brakes at 90% for the brake pressure and 60 for the bias. Tyres a little bit down on the rear tyre pressures to try and stop us being so generating so much heat in the rear tyres and burning them up. And the weight distribution is at 8, which is a bit of a difference from the usual 6 or 7 that I have. So we'll have a quick look at the weather for qualifying the race, but I do believe it's going to be dry. Qualifying is, yep, dry, and the race is a little bit cloudy. So we'll get out on track, we'll settle, see what's what. It's quite a nice circuit, I do like it, although from this point onwards they've completely butchered it. I really wish we had the old, I think the Peralta corner, which is just there to the left, and it's quite a long, fast right-hander which leads into the main straight, but we've got this little silly stadium section, but nevertheless it's quite a nice lap. I seem to hook it up quite nice, so we'll go for a flyer and see what we can do. So not a bad first lap, although the order's a bit upside down. Somehow Palmer's pulled out an 18.8 from somewhere. We're sitting on a 19.4, which is down in 15th place, so we've only managed to, or Matt's been a bit naughty. So the only person apart from the McLarens on our team that they were ahead of is Sainz. Yeah, haven't done a lot of dry running since the holiday. It's all been wet, so I'm still getting used to how the track feels and all that, so I can definitely find a few temps from somewhere, but we seem to be okay in sector 1, sector 2, and losing a couple of temps in sector 3. So if we can find, if we can maybe get into the high 18s, I'll be quite happy, because you might be able to out jump a few of these. But yeah, Palmer in 7th, that's a bit of a surprise. So we'll get back out of there then and do a slow out lap, and then get one more flying in to see where we end up. So I've got Alonso right up behind me. I haven't managed to break his toe, so hopefully he won't overtake us. So it felt like an alright lap, but I was very aware of Alonso behind me all the time, and I think I lost a couple of attempts here and there, but we have managed to improve a little bit. Bottas has taken pole by half a tenth of a second over Raikkonen, Vettel and Hamilton third and fourth. Local hero Perez lines up in 5th place, and his teammate has managed to get inside the top 10 as well. Palmer's ended up in 11th place after being, I think, 7th in the early stages. And we are in 15th place with a 1 minute 19.144. I reckon if I'd nailed that lap, I could probably do an 18.9, which would have put me around about 12th or 13th. But I'm happy with 15th anyway. We're ahead of Stroll, Grosjean, Alonso, Verline, who's managed to out-qualify Van Dorn. So yeah, it's could have been a bit better, but I'll take 15th anyway. So you don't win points in the qualifying, it's all about the race. So the resource points for qualifying should be the usual 85 that we get. Nice, nearly 500, so we should be able to do another upgrade after this race. The rivalry update, he's out-qualified us by a couple of attempts, so we're now 2 points back. And the team approval, again, continues to creep up with some of the teams, which is nice. And unfortunately, after the retirement we had last time out in USA, we're not exactly right at the top of the purple. We're just a little bit back. But I'm sure we'll get that back after the race. And now we'll listen to the voicemail for the race objective. 16th and beat Magnussen. I think it's achievable, certainly if we keep it clean in the first couple of laps and make a few positions on that long run to turn 1. So not much else to look at then. We might as well just go straight to the track, have a look at the race strategy and get on with the race.
With that then, let's run through the grid order. Valtteri Bottas lines up on pole position and Kimi Raikkonen completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Vettel, Hamilton, Sergio Perez and Ricciardo, Verstappen, Ocon, Kvyat and Felipe Massa, Palmer, Sainz, Kevin Magnussen and Hulkenberg, Sauber, Stroll, Romain Grosjean and Fernando Alonso. Verline and Stoffel Van Dorn completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
So then it looks like that the recent few patches and the fact we're now into Season 2 means a lot of these guys have upgraded the durability of their cars. Only Van Dorn had a grid penalty, but he was at the back anyway, and I think it was this time last season where we were like qualifying 18th and then starting 8th because so many people having grid penalties. So it looks like that's being fixed, which is a bit of a shame really, because I wouldn't mind starting at the front of the field for the last couple of races. So then, race strategy, let's bump up the fuel. Should we run it in? Yeah, we'll go 4 laps worth of extra fuel. As for strategy, we'll start on the super softs and go onto the ultras to try and give us a bit of extra speed later on. 11 and then 7, will that work for us? 10 and 8? We'll go 10 and 8 for now, and yeah, that might change a little bit during the race. You never know, if an early safety car comes out, it might bump on another set of soft tyres or whatever, and see how the tyre wear affects us. So we'll get the formation lap out of the way and then get this race on the go. So a quick look at the race director. We're the only one starting on the super soft tyres. Let's get a good start into turn 1. Lights are out and away we go. It's not a bad one. But we're not getting a tow from a car in front. Here we go, turn 1. Oh, it's all getting very close and personal with everyone. Made it up to 13th. It's a good opening lap, 11th place. We'll bump into Rich Mix now and try and stick with these guys when the DRS comes around. So into lap 3, we're not sticking with the guys in the front, and in fact we've got Palmer behind. Just going to try out the inside. Palmer again coming back at us here. So we've got a good top end speed. Everyone behind us has DRS, but they can't get close enough. Jeff's just come over the radio to say we've got a bit of gearbox wear. Hopefully we don't lose a gear. Some of the guys are in the pits now. I might take the lead of the race here, but I know there's a 5 behind me as well. Look at this. So Vettel's up the inside. Through he goes, and I don't think I'll be able to get past at the next corner. So I'm right with the leaders now, which is probably not what I want, because I don't want to be losing time to these guys. So into lap 10, I've got Raikkonen and a Mercedes that are probably about to pass me down into turn 1. I won't put up too much of a fight. We're going to be 3 wide as well into turn 1. I really want to get out of this. Oh, look at these guys. Oh, Raikkonen turns in, just catches our front end. We've managed to control it. Tyres are dead, so I'm boxing this lap. In fact, we've lost out a little bit by the looks of it as well, so I need a bit of a miracle here to get a point. So we're 6 seconds back with 7 laps to go. I need to catch these guys by a second a lap. I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm hoping and praying that someone in the top 10 has a problem. In 2 laps, I've only managed to bring the gap down to 5.6, so we've got 5 laps to go. It's not going to happen, and I've got to save some fuel, probably with a couple of laps to go as well. So, like I said, I'm not going to catch these guys on pace. Just got to hope that one of them has a problem. Oh, yeah, the flags are out. Oh, someone's on the side of the road. Who's that? Is that Kvyat? No, it's Massa. Massa's at the race. So that has now promoted us inside the top 10. So there we go. Lady Luck smiles upon us. And if we keep it together and save a bit of fuel and don't hit the wall, we'll get a point. Having said all that, this 10th place isn't secure. I'm now in fuel saving mode. Magnussen is catching us. So I really don't want him up behind me going into the final lap, because he will get past to the DRS. So Magnussen's brought the gap down from 2.1 to 1.7, 2 laps to go. I'm going to have to be in fuel saving mode for this lap, but on the last lap I might be able to move back into standard, but he's creeping up on us here. So into the final lap then, I can probably go standard now. That is Magnussen. So I've got to push like anything here just for a point. Few corners to go. There he is. As long as we don't make a mistake, the point will be ours. Fireworks come up for the race winner. To be honest, I want the fireworks for me. I've had to sweat hard for this point. And at the final corner. And we do take 1 point. Well, I don't think I've ever had to sweat that much for a single point. We got a bit lucky with Massa retiring. Blown engine, I think it was, and we just managed to hold off Magnussen towards the end after a bit of fuel save. But we do pick up a point, which is nice. Back in the points after the disappointment of retiring at USA. So Vettel's won the race with Raikkonen second, Bottas third, Hamilton in fourth. And then it goes Red Bull, Force India, Red Bull, Force India, and then Kvyat and ourselves. We managed to hold off Magnussen and his teammate Grosjean. Sainz had a poor race down in 13th, Hulkenberg 14th, and then Alonso and Verline have managed to beat Stroll and Van Dorn. Stroll's had a poor one, hasn't he? Really poor. Look at it, it wasn't even on the back of these guys. So Stroll and Van Dorn had poor races. Massa and Palmer, we know, retired. So we'll have a look at the standings, see what's what. So Hamilton leads by just 12 points over Raikkonen, with Bottas 27 points back. Vettel is out of it, even though he has won the race. There's 2 races left, 50 points, so it's a 3-way fight. And we remain in 8th place. Ricciardo has jumped ahead of Perez by probably having a higher finish, I'd say. They're level on points. Further down, Ocon has now moved up ahead of Magnussen. And since the update, Force India have got a lot better, but Ocon seems to still be struggling. But I think in Season 3, you'll see both Force India drivers comfortably inside the top 10. And further down, of course, Van Dorn and Verline still yet to score. In the Constructors, Mercedes now lead Ferrari by 50 points, so that's still all to play for. And then there's a massive gap back to Red Bull in third. Force India, I think, are relatively safe in fourth place now, and so are we in sixth. So I don't think the Constructors is going to change too much. Haas 5 points ahead of Toro Rosso. McLaren's still on 2 points. So we're 22 points ahead of Renault with just 2 races left. I want at least another 15 points to hit the target of 100. I think it's achievable because Brazil is next and it's a track I do like. But yeah, we've managed to get a point here, so I'm very happy. So the resource points for the race, this will comfortably take us over the 600 target, 616 in total. And the first driver bonus as well, we're still quite away from getting the 15%, which will probably be about 75 per race instead of the old 50 odd, so 673, which is nice. The rivalry update, we drew that one, so we're still 2 points behind with 2 races left, so we won't see it off. It'll be into season 3 when the rivalry will continue with this one, because this won't end, I should say, in the next 2 races. And then the team approval, this was a shot hopefully back up to the top, although it hasn't moved, but it doesn't matter. McLaren now at 100% reputation, and then we've got Williams who are now in second place. Tempted to go to Williams? No, job isn't done at Sauber yet. I think the only team I'd want to move to really is McLaren to try and improve them from the bottom. Going to a midfield team like Toro Rosso or Williams doesn't really interest me, and if I go to one of the top teams, well, it'll be too easy for me, I think. So I'm quite enjoying the challenge. And then the career score for the weekend, 5,500 for the practice, which is nice. So we should be comfortably over 10,000. 11,511, which is nice, which brings our career score up to 288,000 and our season total to 157. Be nice if we can hit a career score of over 300,000 by the end of season 2. And that's it then. We've got no classic car events, so there's not much else to look at really, other than going to the R&D screen. So then let's have a look at what we can do. We're already over a third of the way through the chassis, which is nice. So we'll have a quick look. How are we looking on the powertrain? What's everything there? It's 700, so I can't do anything over there. Chassis, we've only got 3 left of these ones here before we have to move on to the larger ones. So we'll get the chassis down then. So we've got hydraulics, weight redistribution. The arrangement of the hydraulic fluid can be adjusted for better weight distribution without any compromise to the car's hydraulic capability, so better weight. This one is the wiring loom, weight reduction. An updated wiring loom construction reduces the mass of all the circuitry within the vehicle without any loss in integrity, so it makes the car a little lighter. And this one is upgraded tyre blankets, which we saw last time out. New specification of carbon sheet resistive tyre blankets. Heat the tyres more evenly, better preparing them for the sessions ahead. As a result, overall tyre wear is decreased. That'll all be done. But in 25% races, tyre wear isn't really a problem. Everyone does a one-stop. Maybe if I was doing 50 or 100% races, this would sort of help me to do less stops in a long-distance race. So it doesn't really matter which one we do. Weight reduction is probably the nicest one. So we'll get that done. And hopefully that will pass next time out at Brazil. So that's pretty much the episode over and done with then. I'll change all these bits back to the next one. And, I can do that now, can't I? I can change... Would you like to apply this gearbox to the car? There is no penalty. Yes, please. So we managed to get all through these without... I haven't actually had a gearbox failure yet, which is nice. I've never lost a gear as far as I know. And we're now on to the 4th and final gearbox unit for the final 2 races, which is good. And the power units as well. I'll be using all these old ones for the practice sessions and then moving on to number 5, which is still relatively fresh. 7% on the ICE, 8% on the MG UK for running rich mix for most, 6% on the H. Energy store is sitting at 4%. Turbochargers at 5 and the electronics are at 4. So this will now be unit number 5 will only be used for the qualifying and the race sessions for the last 2 races, and I'll use all the older ones for the practice sessions. So that's pretty much it then. The episode is all over and done with. 18 races done, 2 to go in season 2. A hard fought sweaty point for 10th place there. Had to hold off Magnussen towards the end, but it's another point, which is nice. So yeah, it's nice to be back doing this. I've been away for I think 8 or 9 days, so hopefully you haven't got a board waiting for me, and this should be uploaded. Well, it's now midday on Monday, so I reckon this will probably be up sometime this evening, and then I'll crack on with the next 2 races and hopefully get the season done before the weekend comes back around. So once again, thank you very much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all very soon.